Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. Come on, and I'm so glad you decided to hop on because I have some very important information to share with you about where we are with grants and how, yes, you as a woman-led organization can still get grants even through this crazy grant environment that we are in with all of the cuts. I'm going to show you how to navigate around them. So my name is Linda PV. I'm going to be your host. And as you come in, give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. I am in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, where it is a mild, like 59 degrees. We're not complaining because we know in Cleveland, we've had a little white stuff in May. So let me know where you're coming in from. I see you. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Hello, Donna from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Who else is here with me today? Hello, Denise from Philly. Philadelphia is in the house. And who else is here with me? Who else is here with me? Don't be shy. Give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know who is here with me today. Well, we're going to talk about how to navigate how to navigate around and through and over and under all of this craziness that's going on with grants. Hello, Kimberly. Kim is coming in from Kansas and Chandra from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And who else is here with me tonight? Give that city and that state a shout out. Hello, Adore from the ATL, Atlanta. And Monica from California and Sarah from Houston is up in the house. Who else is coming in? Give that city and that state a shout out as you come in. I am really so glad that you decided to hop on because there's a lot of really important information that needs to be shared with you today. Jazzy from Long Beach, California. All right, we're going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share. And as I always say, when we are live, as I share my screen with you, it is come through technology, come on through. It is looking good thus far. All right, we are ready to go. All right, so let me just make sure everybody's in the right place. So this is grant writing for women-owned businesses and women-led nonprofits, and this is my 7 o'clock session. Yes, I was live at noon today, and oh my goodness, we had such great questions, and I know we will tonight. So welcome aboard. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Linda PV, and yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants and funding, and this is year 17 of me owning my company, upon consulting. In every one of those years, I have served as a professional grant writer. Now, I currently give grant writing webinars and presentations, and I teach all around the country grant writing to some small organizations and some of your larger organizations like the Urban League or Goldman Sachs, where I am a proud alumnus of their 10,000 Small Businesses program. And my undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron, Ohio. Go Zips, go Zips. I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. And now I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I have been on both sides of that coin. So let me know who's here with me today. Let me know in the chat. Are you a for-profit, meaning you could be a sole proprietor or an LLC or a partnership, or are you a nonprofit? Or maybe you're both, because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are opening up nonprofits now, which is great because it really places your organization in the best possible position, right? To get grants. So let me know in the chat. Who is here with me? Small business, LLC. Ah, both. Excellent. Another both. Wow, fantastic. So let me just say to all of you, you're in the right place because there are grants for both. There are grants for your nonprofits, but there are also grants for small businesses. So yes, women-led nonprofits and women-owned small businesses. Yes, there's still grant money available, and I'm going to navigate right? This maze for you and show you how to get to them, right? All right, so be encouraged because yes, there are grants still available. Even though you're hearing about cuts, there are grants available. I'll show you where they are and how to get them. All right, now, how did I get here in this space? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, and unfortunately, I got hurt. And I went from literally traveling the world to moving everything I owned into a storage unit and moving back home to Cleveland, Ohio, and moving in with my sister, where I lived for 4 years. Literally came home in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand. And for 2 years, I was recuperating. I couldn't find a job. So when I tell you I started from zero, I started from zero. But after 2 years, when I couldn't find a job, that is when I started my company, LaPaul Consulting. Now, one of my first contract positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. Now, I have to tell you, I don't think I was there, maybe 2 weeks, and I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my job. It would pay for my salary as the executive director. Now, let me say to all of you, I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants, zero knowledge of grants. And now I'm being asked to write a grant that would pay for my salary for a year. Talk about the pressure. But you know what? I did it. I did the research. I wrote that grant. I won that grant. And yes, it did pay for my salary for a year. And I learned a few things. One, you can write and win grants with zero experience. Yes, you can do this, but you must know that there's a framework, there's a process. And this is what I've learned after having been in this industry for 17 years and having won over $17 million. This is about more than you just answering a question on a grant application and mailing it off, right? Or pressing a button to upload it. And that's what I'm going to teach you. There's a process to winning. But I also learned what you can do with grant money. Look, I hear from you. I know you are tired, right, of always using your own money to fund your organization or your project, right? This is your dream, like this is your baby, and you've been just using your own money to fund it. Why not use some other organization's funding, right, to fund your organization? That's what grant money is. Or you're tired of wearing all 20 hats in your organization, right? Why not use grant funding to hire help, to hire independent contractors, to hire staff? Those are just a few of the ways you can use grant money, right? We'll talk about more, but most importantly, I need for you to know that you can do this. I'm going to show you how you can do this, even in this environment. Now, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the current grant landscape, right? And then grant basics, but also how do you prepare to apply for grants? That is very important. And then what and how do you write the application so that you're getting noticed in a sea of applications? And then how do you attract the right funder? And then I will show you how to conduct grant research so that you're finding the organizations that want to give you funding. And then we're going to do a little bonus surprise. We're going to have a Q&A. Now, speaking of Q&A, like this is not the time to be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert your grant questions. Now, you can drop them in either the Q&A or the chat, and I will get to them at the end. All right. Now, also, I'm here to help you. I've been in this industry for 17 years. What has happened this year, I've never seen in my life before. But I'm here to help you navigate through it because you can get through this and still get grant money. That's what I need for you to understand tonight. All right, I'm going to show you how. Now, I'm here to help you. Therefore, you're going to get a copy of this replay. You'll get it for free. I am not charging you for the replay because I want you to have this information and to share it, right, with other organizations that are still under the assumption that, oh my gosh, there are no grants, right? So you'll get the replay. You'll have it forever, no expiration date. All right. So we're ready to go. So don't worry about replays. You'll get it. Now, why are we even here? We're here because we need access to funding, right? And guess what? We don't always want to learn about loans, right? Are you a little tired of hearing about loans as I am? This is grant money, right? You don't pay grant money back. That's what you want, right? Grant funding. All right. And let me say this to all of you. You can do this. That's right. Drop those questions in the Q&A. You can do this. Grant writing is not what it used to be, ladies. It's not you sitting in a corner writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. No, foundations don't have the staff, right, to review those long applications. So some of these applications now, 4 or 5 pages. You can do this, but please understand there's a process. It is about more than answering that question. All right. That's what I've learned after having won almost $18 million. There's a process to winning. That's what I'll show you tonight. Now, but let's talk about what is going on with grants. Now, here's the issue. Yes, there currently has been so many decreases in federal grant money, right? Federal freezes, right? Some entire grant programs have been completely just decimated. But guess what? Federal grants do not equal all grants, right? This is where people are under misconceptions. Grants come from thousands of resources. And I rarely focus on federal grants. You know why? They're more difficult to get. You really do need significant grant writing experience, oftentimes when you have partners. I focus on community, private, family, and corporate foundation grants, and they are still available. They are still plentiful, and they give to small businesses and nonprofits, so you all are covered. All right, so be encouraged. The grant money is still available. It's non-federal grant money, which totals in the billions of dollars, which I'll show you the amount in a moment. But something else I want you to do is think about diversifying your funding. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Those are some expensive eggs, right? Diversify, yes, pursue grants, but also pursue sponsorships and individual donations and corporate contracts. And speaking of corporate contracts, did you know that you don't have to be some huge corporation to get a corporate contract? You could be a solopreneur or a coach or a consultant. So diversify that funding. All right. There is an opportunity that exists for you all right now, unexpected opportunity. One, there is a significant portion of people who are under the misconception that when the federal government cut grants, that meant there were no more grants. So guess what's happening? That's less competition for you. So that you know that there are plenty of grants available. I expect you to swoop in and start applying for these grants, right? And again, they come from thousands of different resources all over the country. Private foundations, community foundations, corporate foundations. All right. Number 2, look inward. It's going to be important for you to establish relationships with your local community, your local foundations, your local corporations that give grants, your local family foundations that give grants, because guess what's happening? They are increasing their grant output, trying to fill in the gaps created by the federal government. So this is more reason for you to look inward and start connecting with local funding. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that it encompasses not just communities of color, but women of any ethnicity, and the disabled and veterans. Now, of course, the White House is demanding that many organizations completely cease their DEI funding. But let me tell you what's happening, right? Because a lot of these organizations, this is what they do. This is who they are. They're not changing who they give funding to. And this is what I want you to remember. You don't change who you serve. You tweak the language, which is what they're needing to do. They're needing to tweak that language a bit. So at the end of the day, they don't receive the wrath coming out of the White House, but they can still serve, right? Who they know there's a need. So this is what you do. But here's some other good news. Because you may not always have to tweak your language. It really depends on the organization. So when you're searching for your grant, you come across organizations like the Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation. They are publicly committed to DEI. You go to their websites and racial equity is all over their websites, right? They're not changing a syllable. So there may be circumstances where you don't have to change anything, but there may be others where you need to tweak that language a bit so that you're not talking about race or gender, but you're talking about the conditions and the categories and the outcomes. Because newer foundations like Google and Apple and Delta and Costco, well, they're still committed to DEI. They've just tweaked their language a bit, right? So that they're not getting the wrath coming out of the White House, but they're still devoted to these communities because the need is greater than ever. All right. So this is what you're going to do. If your audience, right, the people that you serve are part of the DI community, you may need to tweak that language. Let's say your old program offered youth development opportunities for Black boys. That was how you used to describe it. Here's how you may need to describe it. We provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys, right? You're tweaking that language. You're taking out Black. Or serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. You know what you're talking about, Black boys. Supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM. You see how you are changing how you describe who you serve. You're not changing who you serve. All right. Same thing if you are currently serving women. Now, let's say you have a online coaching service, and maybe at one point you describe it as providing employment and career coaching for women. May need to tweak that language a bit. Now you would say our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement, or providing career development services tailored to those who experience unique workforce challenges due to caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities. Now, this is very important what you see me doing, because at the end of the day, your goal is to get the grant money, even if you need to tweak that language a bit. So I need to know that you understand this and that you're getting it. Now, again, there may be instances where you don't change anything, but know that these are some of the words that you need to be seeking and looking for those organizations that are still giving to you, but they had to tweak their language a bit. So give me a yes. Give me a yes in the chat if you understand what I am providing to you, because this is very important. This is how, regardless of what's happening with the federal cuts and the cutting of the DEI, you still are able to navigate this maze so that you're still able to get grant funding. All right, give me a yes. Yes, I see some yeses. That's what I mean. Understand this. This is very important, right? And a lot of organizations are not aware of this. So again, I'm so happy you hopped on. All right. Now, let's just talk about grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back, full stop. All right. Full stop. Now, I'm just talking to nonprofits for the next minute. Get your 501c3. That's your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. If you don't have it, it's only taking 6 to 8 weeks. The link is in the chat. Pay attention to the chat because I'm going to be dropping some important links in there. All right. But from this point forward, I'm talking to everybody. Your nonprofits, your small businesses, everybody. Look at this next slide. This is U.S. grant annual funding, foundation, corporation, and bequest giving. $189 billion, billion would it be, in 2023 alone. That was the last year that we were able to get accurate figures, and that money is expected to increase. Do you see federal funding anywhere on the slide? No. No. I need for you to understand that all grant money does not come from the federal government. Look at this number, $189 billion. That's a lot of money. So I want you to look at it, but I don't want you to be intimidated by it and think, oh, Linda, there's no way I can get any of that. Because at the end of the day, what? At the end of the day, you just need what you need. You just need a little bit of this money, just a little bit, right? To do what you're wanting to do to help transform your target population. So into the chat, everybody. I need for you to focus on this. Into the chat, I want you to put, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit. I don't want you to be intimidated by these large numbers. You know what you need, right? You just need a little bit of $189 billion, right? Danita, do you need it all? Kimberly, are you going to be greedy and try to get all 189 billion, right? Donna, will you take a slice of it? Will you take a slice, right? A sliver. Crumbs. I'll take crumbs because the crumbs from $189 billion is a lot of money. Danita says, I need 1 or 10%. Look, claim what you need, right? Danita, you know what you need. Claim what you need, right? But it's not all of it. And understand that you get the part that you need. You get a little bit of this $189 billion. I'm going to show you how. But first, I need you to just hone in on those writing skills. No, you don't need to be a professional writer. No, you don't need to be an expert writer. Get help. Grammarly. Grammarly is your friend. And let me say to you, I am a professional editor, writer, and grant writer. I would not write without Grammarly. It's phenomenal. If you're using it, give yourself some love in the chat. If you use Grammarly, it is free. It's a free software editing tool. It will self-correct as you write. You can use it for your Word documents, for emails, and courtesy of Grammarly, download this article, improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. So who is using Grammarly? Nobody's using Grammarly. It's phenomenal. It's free. Download it. Why is this important? Kimberly says, yes, having been an educator, it is important. Denora uses it every day. Why is this important? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. And it's so easy to do. All right. So download Grammarly. It's free. All right. Now, also, you need to be grant ready. You need to get those documents in order, your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need that 501c3. Now, are you a legitimate organization? Do you have your articles of incorporation? In some states, you need a business license, right? Or a state certification, same name. Ohio, Georgia, Florida, you don't need one in Wyoming. So if you're wondering whether or not you need a business license in addition to your articles, check with your Secretary of State. All right. What else do you need? Nonprofits, you know, it is required that you have a board of directors. Get that list together. Your list of staff members. Letters of support will only serve to help your grant application. Who are you asking? It could be people who are familiar with you and your service or your organization or your company. Could be politicians, name drop. Do you know the mayor? Can the mayor give you a letter of support? Your pastor, your church, right? Could be community leaders that know of your work, your vendors. Also, create just a draft. Don't freak out about this. Create just a draft operating budget. All it is a list of what you think your expenses are going to be over the course of a year. And you really need to know what they are because it will also help you to determine how much grant money you need. So just get that little draft budget ready. There are templates online that you can download for free. Now, if you're currently operating, you need your financial documents, your balance sheet, and your profit and loss statement. All right? This becomes important to be grant ready. Now, I'm going to go through the typical components of an application and give you best practices so that you understand how to write. The mission is everything. It defines who you are and what you do. And guess what? I often get asked, Linda, I'm a for-profit. Do I still need a mission statement? Absolutely, you do. Because that mission is going to align you to the organization that wants to give you funding. So you don't change your mission based on what organization you want to seek money from. It remains static. But make sure you have one. And if you don't, that's your homework. You don't have a mission statement. That's homework 101 for you. All right. Now, this section is how you are literally going to separate yourself from the pack. It is how you describe your organization. And I need you to think about one word: impact, using real numbers. How have you impacted those for whom you serve? If you have a homeless ministry, how many homeless people have you placed in shelters, and what has been the result? You have an online coaching organization for women, maybe in career development. How many women have you coached online? What has been the result? Where did they end up? Maybe you haven't opened yet. You still talk about your impact, only now you're speaking of what you hope you will accomplish. And you can indicate, let's say you have a tutoring firm, you can indicate that once the students complete my tutoring academy, they will have increased their reading scores by 5% in whatever grade they're in. So whether you are currently open or maybe you are opening, you always need to talk about your impact using real numbers. Grant writing changed about 2 years ago, how it was distributed, the criteria, just overall in the entire industry, because no longer are these foundations good enough with you coming and saying, oh, I want to heal the world. I want to save world peace. No. How? Who? What is the impact? What are your numbers? Right? And again, if you have not yet opened, you talk about what you expect them to be. All right? Excuse me, but this section is everything. Very important. While I take a sip. Now, however you write, in this application, you must write as if you are solving a problem or addressing an issue. Doesn't matter whether or not you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. I always like to take the example of a bakery. Bakery wants to locate in a downtown community. Now, you might be thinking, how is she helping someone? What is the issue that she's resolving? She's making cake all day. Or maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans really don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods, right? She's solving their problem. Or maybe it's all about economic development because she knows that the area where she wants to move in is full of blight. And she wants to go into that community and help revive it. So her issue is economic development. That's the problem she's trying to solve. So she's going to be looking for economic development grants. Whatever that issue is going to lead you to the organization that wants to give you money because they're giving funding in the same area that you are addressing. That's why you have to know how and where foundations fund. In order to do that, you usually go to their websites. It's typically there. The problem is only 10% of foundations even have a website. That's right, 90% of them don't. But that's where you have to get clever in getting information about that foundation. All right. Now, also, target population, this is where some of you really get into trouble. You're trying to help too many people. You can't help everybody. I speak to you all the time, nonprofits, small businesses. You want to start 3, 4, 5 businesses at one time. No. That's how you get burnt out. And the more you add on to your plate, the more programs you start adding, the more you dilute everything that you're doing because you only have so many resources. You only have so much energy. Do one thing extraordinarily well and then add on. So when I ask you who are you helping, you tell me veterans. I'm going to say niche down. Veterans who? Homeless veterans that need transitional housing, veterans with PTSD that need counseling. Who are you helping? You should have one, maybe 2 target populations because the more I tell you, the more you start adding on. I've been a business coach for 16 years now. I see this frequently. It will not serve you. And it certainly will not serve the people that you are trying to help the most, right? And it doesn't matter if you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. You want to open up that restaurant, open up one and be successful instead of trying to open up 2 or 3 at the same time, or having a menu that serves everybody. Niche down that menu, right? Target your population. Got it? Now, all of you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating grants or program project grants? You know, we love to get operating grant money because when you get an operating grant, you decide where to put the money. It could go towards salaries or lease or IT, marketing, you name it. Only about 32% of grants are given for general operating support, wherever you need it, to really shore up your infrastructure, right? To create a stronger organization. That's what operating funds are for. But most money has to go to a particular project. If you have that bakery, maybe you want to start a delivery service. That could be a project. All right. But at the end of the day, you must apply to multiple foundations. Tell me why that is in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Why do you think it is important that you must apply to multiple foundations? Yes, Danita, we love that operating unrestricted grant, right? You really get to decide where do you put that money, right? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think it is important that you apply to multiple foundations simultaneously? That's right, Kimberly, improves your chances of reception. Yes, try again until it happens, Denise. That's right. But here's another reason that I need you to understand, all of you. Grants are not guaranteed. Grants are not guaranteed. I don't know where that information came from, right? Me and my colleagues think about this all the time. Like, where did this come from? People are being scammed daily because of this. I hear horror stories. Horror stories. It literally hurts my heart when I hear about people who gave somebody their money because they told them that they could guarantee them grant money. I see it on the internet all the time. Come here, nobody is denied, everybody wins. They're called scammers, professional scammers. So be careful. All right. No such thing as guaranteed grant money. You need to apply to multiple foundations. This is the long game. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is not a one and done industry. All right. Got it? All right. Now, I cannot tell you how important this is. This will help you to get approved for your grants. You need community partners. All of you, doesn't matter how small you are. Connect with well-respected entities in your community. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Let's say you have an accounting firm. Go to your local library, give a free text talk 1 hour every month. You're going to have an audience because that library is going to promote you. I think libraries are criminally underutilized. I say it all the time. They can be some of your best allies. They're going to promote you. Why is it important for you to be promoted? Because it increases your level of visibility. What does it have to do with grants? Because foundations are constantly seeking to see who's doing what in their community. I want to give you another example. And by the way, your partners, they could be universities, women's business organizations like the Y, Greek organizations, right? Just make sure they're well respected in your community, because even in grants, you never know who knows who, right? Somebody at the library that sits on the board that you connected with could know somebody on the board of the local foundation. Now, let's say there's a young lady with a reentry program, reentry meaning that she wants to make sure ex-offenders become successful members of society. In order to implement her program, she has to interview them while they are in jail to make sure they qualify for her program. Who should she be connecting with in the community? Who? Now, she has to interview people in jail to make sure they qualify for her program, which is going to give them the opportunity to become successful members of society. I want to know in the chat, who should she be meeting with in her community? Who? Let me know in the chat. Who should she be meeting with in her community? Let me know. She has a reentry program. Who? Exactly. Adore the county jail. She's got to get access to the prisoners, right? Churches, Denise, yes, because a lot of churches have phenomenal ex-offender programs. right? Do you want them to be housed? You don't want them to be homeless, right? What about transitional housing? That's right, Oriana, meeting with workforce, because there are companies that will hire ex-offenders. You want them to be trained, right? Because you want them to be successful once they get back into the community. Exactly. You don't want them to be homeless, Kimberly. Group homes, yes. Absolutely, group homes. Remember, you want them to be successful, right? So we were able to name what, probably 7, 8, 9, just like this. This is not difficult, people. This is what I want you to do. This is your homework. I want each and every one of you to name 5 organizations that you are going to connect with based on your organization. And it doesn't mean you need to have the partnership solidified before you input it on the grant application, right? You can discuss how you're going to be meeting with them. But this is your homework. Name 5 that you're going to connect with based on your organization. All right, now we're on to the money. This is how you are going to spend the grant funding. Whatever you do, itemize those expenses. You want $50,000 to hire an executive director? You can't just write, I need 50 grand for an ED. No. Is it a contracted person? If so, what is the hourly rate? How many hours are they working a week? How many weeks out of the year? Right? You need supplies. How many do you need? How much is each supply? And who's going to be using it? Right? How you describe your use of the funding goes into the budget narrative. The actual numbers go into the budget. Got it? Now, we're at the slide. This is the most important slide in the presentation, because if you don't take anything else away from this masterclass, this is it. You need to meet with the foundation first. Yes, you need to build this relationship. There's nothing to be fearful of, nothing. Your success is always going to be on the other side of fear, always, right? And guess what? They want to meet with you because they're interested in what you do. They're considering giving you grant money. You want to meet with them because in this meeting, they often give you insight about that grant that is not on their website. I probably set up 1,000 of these in the last 16 years. I always remember one 30-minute Zoom meeting, $30,000 is what my client got because the missions align, right? This is why it's so important for you to do this in a community of support so that you can get these nuggets and know what to do to place yourself in a much better position to actually start winning some of this grant money, not just writing a bunch of grant applications. You need to meet with this foundation. This is important, vital, crucial, oftentimes the deciding factor. But I think some of you are still thinking, Linda, I don't have time for this though. I don't have time to write these grant applications. Remember what I said to you at the beginning? Some of these applications are what, 4 or 5 pages. Because the foundations don't have the staff to sit back and review 100-page documents. So you can do this. And with AI now, oh my gosh, that takes away the excuse. With AI, you can write lightning fast grants. I'll talk about AI in a minute. All right. So you can do this. So I have a question for all of you, especially the ones that are thinking, Linda, I don't know. I don't think I have the time. I have a question I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, does anybody have time to get free money? Let me see in the chat. If anybody has time to get, oh, I see yes. I see yes. I see yes, yes. I see absolutely. I see darn straight. I see yes, yes, yes. I see indeed. I see I will make the time. I see absolutely. So it sounds to me like you got time to get some free money. So if you've got time to get some free money, I need for you to spend just a little time on the process, to get the free money, but make sure you try to be in a community, right, that can guide you and help you along the way so that you're getting the right direction. All right, now we're up to the grant research. This is how you find the grants. Look, Google is okay. Google is fine, but I need for you to use a grant portal that specifically is set up to provide information about grants. So yes, you can do this. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the US. Now, they give you information about the organizations providing the grant. So, for example, if you are in Detroit and you have a program where you are trying to place homeless veterans into transitional housing, you plug that information into FDO, you push a button, and it is going to give you a list of organizations that fund that type of a program. FDO is $50 a month or free at your local library. It is free. Now, they changed their name to Candid, but when you start searching for grants, it's still the same exact website. Grants.gov, we know most of those grants have shut down. Lilly Foundation. Yes, as a church or a faith-based organization, you can get grants. Grant Watch, I love $20 a week or $200 for the entire year. They do give you a list of grants with the deadlines and the grant synopsis and the contact information. I love Grant Watch. Grant Station is great. They're $200 for the entire year. And I think they do the best, really give you the best opportunity to really hone in on exactly what your program or your service is providing. Whether it's that restaurant that's a for-profit or a homeless ministry that's a nonprofit. They also have a lot of free training. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org, sign up for them. They have a lot of free training as well. Now, I'm going to show you really quickly. This is Grant Watch. They're $20 a week. This just gives you an idea of how you search for these grants. It's based on factors. One, are you a nonprofit or a business? Click the right box. Next, go to the left. Start completing these filters. What is your industry? Is it food and beverage? Right? Is it education? You include it. Who is your target population? These are drop-down boxes. You choose one. And then you push a button, you get a list of grants based on what you do, who you serve, and where you are located. Now, I think a lot of you leave money on the table because you don't want to look inward. You're trying to find and seek these national grants that are $1 million when there's money right in your backyard. It's easier to get local grant money, right? But don't disregard the national funders. You could live in Tennessee and an organization in Texas could give you funding. You don't have to just search for grants in your state. These are national grants. Search for national grants all over the country. And for my international friends, this is absolutely for you as well. This is not just for US-based organizations. You could live in the US and serve a population in Kenya and get grant money. You could live in Kenya and serve a population in Kenya and get grant money. So don't think this is just for US-based organizations, all right? Now I have just a little mini list of grants here for you, just so that you are aware that there are still grants for you as women. HelloAlice.com, that is the source of grants, especially for small businesses owned by women. There's 7 open right now. 7 grants open right now on HelloAlice.com. Main Street Grant. Do you have a brick and mortar? That grant is opening. Amber Grants for Women, they provide $30,000 every month, broken into 3 categories. One is for startups, one is for just typical industry, and the third is going to be geared towards the theme. The themes are different for every month. Find out what it is for May. $30,000 a month. Do you want a significant amount of money? Angels.com, 37angels.com, they give up to $150,000 solely for women-owned businesses. I Fund Women, they have a lot of international grants. Sky's the Limit, that's for startups. Now, Amarillo's in Texas, they serve small and all volunteer nonprofits. Now, when I say small, I mean small. You may be thinking, Linda, I'm too small. It's just me. I'm a solopreneur. Yes, solopreneurs get grant money too. Or you might be saying, I don't have some organizational chart. I don't pay my staff. I don't even pay myself. All volunteer nonprofits get grant money too. All right. All right. Now, really quickly into the chat, I want you to tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money. Banks and money. Let me know in the chat, like, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Banks and money. Let me know in the chat. Let's see what we got. They hold all the money. Loans, 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 liens. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money in the United States? I'm in Ohio. One of the largest foundations here is the Key Bank Foundation. Banks provide hundreds of millions of dollars in grant money every year. It's not necessarily your bank. Choose a bank with a great presence in your community. Maybe they have a regional office, or maybe it's their headquarters. Typically, it's going to be a VP of maybe community redevelopment or community reinvestment or economic development. I'm placing the links in the chat. But here's 4 hot leads. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, Truist. Now, all of these except, I believe, TD Banks gives to for-profits and nonprofits. 4 hot leads. Now, let me say something about artificial intelligence, typically ChatGPT. People, it's not coming, it's here. But here is what you must be careful about. There's no such thing as pushing a button in AI and getting a perfect grant application. That's not how AI works. You have to feed AI. It will do a phenomenal job of research and even editing and retooling your information, but you've got to come up with the information. You have to be able to at least write the basics about your organization, and then you feed it into AI and it can perfect it. But there's no getting around knowing your mission and writing about your statement of need or your project. This is where people get into trouble because they use AI to just write, right? And that's where you can get into ethical trouble and plagiarism. Use your own words to describe your organization and plug it into AI and then let it do its work. All right. It is a phenomenal tool. It will help you significantly to write better and faster grants. It's amazing. But you've got to be able to write about the basics of your organization. And this is where my bonus surprise comes in, because I wrote a grant writing course to help you do just that, to help you be able to write about your organization. But here's the difference. This course includes my coaching, and that is going to be your little secret weapon, is my coaching. Now, the course will teach you how to write every part of the grant application. It will teach you how to do the research, find the funders that you need. But what happens when you're ready to meet with them? Do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it? This is where you're going to come into our private Facebook group and start asking questions. Let us know. I'm getting ready to meet with ABC Foundation. What do I need to do? What do I need to say? We will coach you through it. I will coach you through it. I will be serving as your grant coach. Now, the course will teach you how to create your budget. I have templates, right? But do you know what to ask for? Do you know whether you should be asking for operating money or program project money? That's where the coaching comes in. Now, this is not some YouTube video course. You get actual lessons, 12 modules, 35 lessons, but it's step by step. And here's where the course is different, because I was hired to write. When I say write, I mean build grant applications, including creating the grant questions. I have utilized real grant questions from real grant applications and dropped them into my course. So when you are completing my course, it's like completing a grant application. Only now you've got all the support you need from me and the Facebook group, so that by the time you're done, you have a phenomenal grant template that you're going to start using to apply to grant after grant after grant. That's why it makes it easier and faster. And yes, you get real grant examples, and every grant example I wrote, and every grant example won money. Here's your course bonuses. You get a list of over 600 organizations that provide grants. And you have access to that phenomenal private Facebook group that is just literally there to help you, there to give you support, real answers, not answers from a bot. And then you get an hour with me of monthly group coaching. Make sure you're not stuck. Make sure you get all of those questions answered. And ingrained and embedded into every lesson in my course is a discussion starter where you can ask a question about the lesson. It comes directly to me. I'm here to get you through this course, and I'm here to help you get grant money, to help you actually win grant money, not just write a bunch of grants. All right. Now, you get 12 modules, 35 lessons. The money that you see is not what you're paying. This is very important, though, that you look at these figures, because I've had this course audited 3 times. It's literally on a university level, but it's so much easier because it's step by step, and you get support. You get our help to get through it. So through the audit, the modules are worth $3,549. The value of the video, $600. The value of the 600 funding list, $500. And yes, you get workbooks and planners and grant trackers worth $350. So the value of a course is $5,000. Audited value. Like, this is what you're getting. You're getting a $5,000 course. But people who know me know this is where I serve. I believe I am meant to do this. Therefore, what I'm not going to do is have price be another hurdle. There have been so many hurdles put in front of us as women now. We see it every day. We're trying to get access to funding. I just do not want to be another one. That's why I give you this information free on this webinar. And I make this course as affordable as I possibly can, because I know it can help you. So my regular price is $9.97. Because of everything that is happening now, it's reduced to $4.97. I'm trying to make it affordable. But you hopped on the webinar. You could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock. You decided to come here. So I'm giving you an additional discount for 3 days. You get $200 off. This is literally as low as I can take it. It's $297. And even I can only do this for a couple of days, right? But it's $297. That's it for everything you get. The entire course, the Facebook group, the group coaching. I have colleagues that charge $2,000 for their grant writing course. You don't even get what you get here, and you certainly don't get access to them. But I know that this can help you. And yes, I have services that are probably exponentially higher, but this course can help you win grant money. And I know this. And it's been proven over and over and over again. So it's $297. That's it. Use a code to get it down to $297. Use your code, MAY21. It will take off $200. If you need 2 months to pay, I will give you 2 months to pay. Pay $175 a month for 2 months. Put a little T on the end of the code, MAY21T, T for 2 months, right? So you pay one payment of $297 or 2 payments of $175. And you read right at the end. That alone is amazing, because I know most courses now, you get what? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? The course never expires. Someone sent me a message today saying, Linda, I bought the course last year. I just wasn't able to do it because of personal reasons. Do I have to pay more? Absolutely not. Here's your link. Get in and get started again, right? Because I'm here to help you. So you get the course, Facebook group, coaching, write everything off, by the way. It's totally tax deductible. Write off the $297, write off the 2 times $175 if you want a 2-month payment plan, and you even get a certificate of completion. And yes, you get templates. Remember I talked to you about the importance of you meeting with the foundation? You send an email. You send an email to meet with them. I have a template for the email that you send. Remember I talked about partnerships? I have a template. I have an email template where you send the email to develop a partnership. I have a grant application template. I'm trying to make this easy. I have financial documents. I have templates. You need an MOU for your partnership. I can show you how it's done. You need a sponsorship kit. Maybe you want sponsorships in addition to grants. I have sponsorship kits I can show you. It's $297. All right, 1 payment. Now, this is how you buy the course. The link, by the way, is in the chat. I almost forgot my big bonus here. Remember I talked about AI? I'm trying to take the excuse off the table of you not having time. AI will give you hours back. And I wrote a guide. I wrote the introductory guide to AI when it comes to grant writing. It's called AI Grant Guide, 10 Steps to Easier and Faster Grant Writing. I will give that to you for free. For free. That's part of the $297 because I'm here to help you and I know that you can do this. I know that you can do this. All right, so you're getting that free. Now, you want to buy the course? The link is in the chat. This is what you do. This is important. Click the link. You will see this page. You want to pay $297, click purchase now. It will take you to this section here. You see where it says have a coupon? You input your coupon. What is it, MAY21? It will take off $200. You're paying $297. You see this little block here? That is a private one-on-one session with me, you and me. I do a deep dive into your organization. I get you together, you leave with complete clarity. I know oftentimes you have 5, 6 different things you want to do. You will leave with one. I will analyze your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your service or your program. And you even leave with a little mini list of local and national grants. It's $495 because it is a strategy session. You get the strategy notes, by the way. You even get the video. The only time you will see it discounted to $195, you have to buy it with the course. So you have to add it onto the course, or else you buy it separately. It's $495. That's to meet with me privately. All right? All right. Now, for those of you who need extra help, we have buy now, pay later options. Affirm, Afterpay, or Klarna is 4 months, same as cash. Think about this. The course is $300. You divide it by 4, you're paying $75 a month. That almost seems unbelievable, right? For you to get help that you need, because some of you have been looking for a long time, not knowing where to go, getting confused. I read that some of you have been scammed. To be in a community where it is all about supporting you and trying to get you grant funding, right? So if you want to take advantage of the 4 payments, it's 4 payments, same as cash. When you buy the course, put in your coupon. It will take it down to $297. Decide whether or not you want to meet with me privately. That's $195. And then once you start paying, search for a little block that says pay another way and click it and keep clicking until you see your Affirm or Klarna or Afterpay. Now, we also take, of course, credit cards and Cash App and Google Pay and PayPal. And I talked about the little 2-month payment plan. That's with us. That's just if you want to pay two times with us, you can. 2 times $175. That's our 2-month payment plan with us. All right. So you've got a choice. Either you pay $297, and if you want to divide that into 4 payments, you can with Klarna or Afterpay or one other one, right? Affirm, or 2-month payment plan, 2 times $175. Hit your 2 times $275 button. It will take you to this screen here. Input your coupon, right? What was it? MAY21 with the little T for 2 months. You see it takes off $100. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months. Yes, you can add on the private coaching. I also provide grant writing boot camps. This is for organizations that are ready to go. I teach 2 months worth of work in 2 days. I taught it February 27th and 28th. Keisha attended. 6 months later, she had her first grant. 6 weeks later, she had her first grant. 8 weeks later, literally 2 weeks after that first grant, she had her second grant. Because remember, I taught you always apply to multiple foundations. Her second grant was for $100,000. She had never written a grant before because at the end of those 2 days, you leave with a completed grant application. A completed grant application that is ready to submit. You leave with a grant template. I'm going to teach you AI over the course of the 2 days. You're going to leave with your implementation plan. You're going to leave with a complete list of national and local grants. So that's 2 months worth of work in 2 days is $1,997, or 2 payments of $1,249. That's for those of you who are ready to go. Now, all of these testimonials here, these people paid less than $300 for the course, and this was their return on investment. You think about this. Whitney got $200,000, $200,000 for a less than $300 investment. She went national, got $40,000 from the Southern Power Fund, a utility company, and $50,000 from the National Birth Equity Collaborative. She has a dual organization. Tanisha, almost 3 months ago, got $100,000. They paid $300. They learned how to write grants. $200,000, $100,000. Kimberly, it's not, I don't think it's been 2 weeks. $84,000. Cherie, 2 weeks ago, $11,000. That was her second grant. Her first grant was last year for $10,000. Here's a clue. Once you get a grant, you always go back to that same organization and ask for a second grant, and always increase your ask. Always increase your ask. All right. Now, Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage, a massage company in Charlotte, $20,000. They said, we are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business, and it has. That $20,000 grant has totally changed the organization. What could you do with $20,000? Christina got $10,000, had never written a grant before. She said, I would not have even had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for the grant writing course. Cornisha got $750. That seems small, right? But guess what? It paid for the course. She took the one-on-one training, it paid for the training, and now she has a partnership with Walmart. So in year 2, she's going to be asking for a lot more money, right? Emily won the LegalZoom grant, $10,000. Talked about the boot camp. If you're interested, send me an email if you're interested in the boot camp, because then we would have to discuss dates. And Melissa's going to drop my email into the Safe Sender, into the webinar chat, but I need for you to put my email on your Safe Senders list. This is very important. So when you see the email into the chat, save it to your email list, because you're going to get your replay and the links for the next 3 days. You got 3 days to get these discounts. You're going to get your link to the course, your discount, but your replay in the email. And I just don't want the emails going to your spam. So Safe Senders list. We're done. It's time to go through Q&A. But before any of you leave, I need for you to do something for you, not for me. For you, not for me. I need for you, because I believe in manifestation. I believe in manifestation. I need for all of you, because some of you, I know you've been searching for a long time, but it's go time. It's go time. You have opportunities that you didn't have even 6 months ago. I want you to all write into the chat right now. I'm ready to get grant money. Each and every one of you, I need for you to write this. I need for you to get it out, get it from up here, through these fingers, into that computer, laptop, phone, whatever. I need for you to write, I'm ready to get grant money, because I need for you to be ready to go. It's go time, right? This is your passion. You've been trying to do this, some of you, for years, right? It's an opportunity for you to finally get funded, for you to get the help that you need, so that you're not wandering around, oh my gosh, I heard there was a grant. I thought there was a grant somewhere. That's right, Denora, Jazzy, write this down. Donna, Danita, Kimberly, Carolyn, Adore, I'm ready to get grant money. I know you're tired of using your own money. I hear from you all the time. Oh, you're tired of not having help. Like, utilize me as a resource. That's why I'm here. Excuse me, because oftentimes, especially in the private session, Melissa can attest to this. While I take a sip, people ask me questions that are a little bit different than grants, because I have been in business for a long time. I know a lot of people. I have inventors who take the course. This one inventor, she had created a product, but she had trouble bringing it to market. Well, I happen to know Lisa Askeles, who is like the QVC queen, HSC queen. She also is a Shark Tank consultant. And so I introduced them and I connected her, because she needed help bringing her invention to market. I gladly give you that information, right? That doesn't cost me anything, but it can help you. All right. All right. That's what I'm talking about. It's Q&A time. I'm going to start with the Q&A in the box because I see quite a few. So in the writing, what you say, I hope to impact, or how would you say it? So you're speaking of, if you are a startup, you want to talk about what you expect the impact will be. So you can indicate when you are writing, you can say, my expectation is that the impact of my, let's say it's a tutoring program, will be that once the students, right, complete the tutoring, that they will increase their reading proficiency scores by 2% or by 5%. You can list them as your goals. This is what I expect to happen. This is what I expect my impact will be. Or if I'm opening up a homeless ministry, you can say, I expect the impact of my homeless ministry will be that I will place 100 homeless people in the homeless shelter. And of those 100 people, 10% will find a job, 10% will be able to complete their GED, right? This is what you expect to have occur if you are able to implement your programming. And in order to be able to implement your programming, you need funding. And this is where you, ABC Foundation, and I can enter into this partnership, because it's a partnership that you will have with this foundation. So that's how you have to speak, right? So those are just a few examples. How would you address the target of small families? What does that mean? That is not our target population. That small, what kind of small families? Who are you helping? Because what does that even mean? If you try to search for a grant that says, I need a grant to help small families, nothing's going to come up. The more you niche down, the more you define who you are helping, the easier it will be for you to find grant money. So you need to tell me, what do you mean by that? And why is it that small families need your help? Ask yourself that. Why do small families need your help? What is it about them that makes them need your help? Do they need clothing? Do they need shelter? Do they need food? Do they need financial literacy? And what is it about them being small that makes them attractive to you? These are questions you have to ask yourself, because you really have to be able to define who you're helping to get grant money. And this is where the course is. Like, I can help you define your target population, especially in the one-on-one, because this is how we are as entrepreneurs. I know it. Like, you have 5 or 6 different ideas in your head, and you come into that one-on-one and you will leave with one. I guarantee you, you will leave with one idea that you're going to focus on. All right. Great question. I am a seamstress and I have a home-based business. Will not having a brick and mortar hinder my chances of receiving grants? Having a brick and mortar has nothing to do with your percentage of receiving grants or your possibility, nothing at all. I'm not sure where that came from either. Most of those people that received grant money that you saw, as a matter of fact, I don't know if any of them have a brick and mortar, but most of those people have service organizations online. Online. Christina is an educational consultant. She has an online company, right? Online. No, you absolutely do not need a brick and mortar. Absolutely. You can absolutely have a home-based business and get grant funding. Where's the best place to apply? I went through that. So use your search engines, choose one or more, GrantStation, GrantWatch, FDL, and then search for your grants. Would you give credit to those who have helped fund your business? And where would you do that? So so 2 places, right? One, they're partners. You can list them as partners, community partners. And 2, however they've helped fund your business, you can list that as part of your revenue. So let's say they generously give you $10,000 a year, right? To help with your organization. You can list that money as revenue, right, from donations, but you can also list that organization as one of your community partners. Is it better to use an email that other than a Gmail? I would say yes. I would say it's always best to use a company email that you've generated based on your company. That's always best. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get money if you have a Gmail, but it's always better to have a company email, right? It helps to legitimize your organization. All right. From a small farm business serving families within the current economic situation. That depends on what you want to do. There's many things you could do with this, right? So if you have a small farm business, first of all, even though they have cut so many of their grants, now we're talking about there are Department of Agricultural grants, but what do you want to do? So I'm going to take this example here I want all of you to hear me out because all of you should be applying to multiple categories where you are seeking grants. And I'll do this for Kimberly. She has a small farm business. I can probably name 4 or 5 grants that she should be applying for. One, we know she's a woman, right? So apply for grants for women, right? Sounds like you have a small business. Apply for small business grants, grants for women who have for-profit organizations, right? She has a small farm, right? That's food and beverage. Apply for food and beverage grants. What are you doing with the small farm? You're saying you want to serve families in the current economic situation. Maybe that means with your small farm, you want to help communities with urban gardens. Maybe you want to go in there and teach them how to create an urban garden. That's a completely separate category where you should be searching for grants for those that fund urban gardens, right? Maybe you want to donate some of your food for food pantries because you want to serve the homeless. That's number 5. You're searching for grants that are geared towards organizations that want to provide food. Number 6, let's say you want to partially serve the homeless community through your food pantry. It's literally, that's like 6 separate categories where you should be applying for grants. And I could probably do that for everybody. At least like 3 or 4. But what you all need to know is that there are grants available for all of you as long as you're doing something legal. You have a legal business, there's a grant for you. It's about finding out where to find the funding, and that is what the course will help you with. All right. So those were the questions in the Q&A. I'm going to go over to the webinar chat because I did see some over here, and then we're going to wrap it up. So it is tax deductible. Okay, I'm going to do this for all of you. Someone's asking. I'm going to show you live how you buy the course. Let me show you live how you buy the course really quickly for those of you who want to see. I'm sharing my screen. I'm doing this live. You want to pay $297, hit purchase now next to the $497. You will see this screen here. You click have a coupon, input your coupon, this MAY21. It will take off $200. You're paying $297. You want to meet with me privately, one-on-one, add your coaching for $195. That brings it to $492. You don't want the coaching, don't add it, takes it back down to $297. You create your account, put in your email, and now let's say you just want to pay, if there's sales tax, they'll add sales tax. We have nothing to do with that. Let's say it's $317.79. You pay it with a credit card or your bank withdrawal, or what do we have? Cash App Pay, PayPal. You see the little down arrow, or Google Pay. Now, if you want to make the 4-month payments, 4 months same as cash, this little box here, just keep clicking pay another way because you may not immediately see Affirm. You may have to click a couple of boxes that say pay another way until you see Affirm or Klarna or Afterpay. All right. You want to pay us twice and be done. Hit purchase now, 2 times $275. You will see this page here, but you have a coupon, MAYT1 with the little MAY21 with the little T. Hit apply. It takes off $100. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months, and you're done. You can still add on the private coaching if you want. All right. I just wanted to get that done because people need to know. All right. So let me go back over and see if there are any other questions. And then we're going to wrap it up. Are there grants for disabled veterans? There are billions of dollars in grants for disabled veterans. All right, let's see. Providing services for neurodiverse people in sports. Very, very, very specific. There are multiple categories, right? Just from you indicating now you're in mental wellness, right? Sports is another category. Anytime you're dealing with sports, that opens up a completely different like wall of opportunities for you, right? Anytime you're dealing with sports, because keep in mind, every major sporting team, every major sporting organization has a major foundation from MLB, NFL, NBA, NASCAR. They all have major foundations, but then within the professional sporting teams, they all have foundations. So you think about this, wherever you're located, you should be targeting the professional sport organizations in your city, right? But also you can be seeking mental health and wellness funding as well, because you're dealing with neurodiverse people. So again, multiple categories where you should be seeking grants. That's for all of you. All right, let's see. Yes, you write it off. Absolutely. You can write it off. If you're a nonprofit, it's an expense. If you are a for-profit, it's a business expense or an educational expense. Just in case we are rejected by one of them, that's one of the reasons why you apply to multiple foundations, Oriana. In the past, scammed weren't as obvious, but now too many people, businesses have been scarred. This is why I always recommend that you investigate people before you give them your money. It's easy to do. Google them, right? Go research their information, their names under the Better Business Bureau. I always suggest people do that for me. You can either Google Linda Peavy or my company is LaPav Consulting. You can input that into your Better Business Bureau, have an A+ rating, right? So I always recommend just investigate people, right? You can't always take recommendations at face value. Like you should be able to, but unfortunately you just can't always. So do your own investigations. All right, let's see. There you go. Nina says, I used to say I didn't have time until I started making time for free money. This is literally what I'm trying to communicate, because people, time is money. If you say you don't have money, but you're spending a lot of time and you're wasting a lot of time trying to get money, time is money. Time is money. How much time have you spent searching for the wrong grants, not writing grants correctly, or being scammed by people who said they could write something for you and they didn't even have a grasp of the English language, right? This is how you have to look at this. Your time is money, and we offer for a very small amount an opportunity to really guide you and help you so that you're not wandering out there not knowing what to do or how to do it. All right. Especially now with everything that's going on with grants, you need to be in a community for sure. Yes, the banks give grant money. The Bank of America grant, they're what, the second largest bank in the United States, and they have committed hundreds of millions of dollars to give away in grants. Bank of America. Yes, it is super affordable, Adore. Super affordable. All right, all right. Before we do anything, though, we have to stop what we're doing. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. I need for you to give Antoinette some love. Antoinette bought the course. Antoinette was like, Linda, I'm tired of looking on my own. I'm tired of trying to do this on my own. I'm tired of not knowing where to go. I'm tired of not knowing how to do it. I need to see some clapping of hands. I need to see some hearts. I need to see some love for Antoinette, because Antoinette, this is what I'm going to do for you. When you get into the Facebook group, everybody that buys a course, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be a welcome email. One email will be your link into the Facebook group. That's where the group coaching, right? That's where the Facebook group is. The group coaching is on Zoom, right? The course is on a software platform called ThinkEpic, like the #1 platform for courses, right? But when you get into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you to give me a summary, a synopsis of your organization, right? When you do that, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you a link to like maybe 3, 4, 5 different sources where you specifically can search for grants based on your organization so that you get help immediately. And I'll do that for anybody buying the course. When you get into the Facebook group, answer my question, and then I'm going to help you immediately. I will help you immediately so that you can get off to a good start. All right. All right. All right, let me just see if there are any other questions. And then we're going to. Thank you, Kimberly, for that advice of Antoinette. Antoinette, we have all struggled, and many of us just give up. You are stronger than you know, and that's what happens, right? You give up. I hear from you, but the reason why you give up is because you're struggling, and the reason you're struggling is because you don't have the proper framework. You're applying for grants that you should never be applying to, and then when you get a rejection letter, you get depressed and you're like, why am I doing this? But it's because you're applying to the wrong grants. You're not following a proven framework, right? This is year 17 for me. These people that you saw, those testimonials, those are real people in the Facebook group. You can come into the Facebook group as a student, reach out to them, ask them questions. It is about collaboration. Everybody in that group is helping everybody else. There is no competition. There's no, oh, I'm not going to tell you about this grant because you might get it. And I'm not, no, I don't even tolerate that, right? It is all about collaboration and everybody helping everybody else. And by the way, you want to know where there are like the most recent grants? I dropped them in the Facebook group. And guess what? The students, they drop more grants in the Facebook group than I do because it is a community. It's a community, right? All right. Let me just make sure that there are no more questions. And yes, it's a small investment, but that's what it is. It's an investment into your dream. This is your dream, right? This is your desire to help, which is phenomenal. That's why I provide this to you for such a low cost, because I honor your dream. There are people waiting for you to manifest what it is in here. Truly, there are people waiting on you. There are people that need what you are wanting to provide, right? All right, let me just make sure that I have answered all of the questions, and I'm going to go back over here to the Q&A. And we are done. One more thing. Let me explain to you the difference between a sponsorship and a grant, because I mentioned before I have like sample sponsorship kits. When you get a grant, the organization providing you with the grant money, they really can't expect anything of value from you other than you completing maybe a grantee report that explains how you spent the grant money. When you get a sponsorship, expect something. Expect that they're going to want something from you, which is fine. This is sponsorship. So maybe they want to put their little tchotchke in your swag bag, or maybe they want to put an ad in your program booklet, or maybe they want to talk to your audience. One of my students, she has a marketing firm. She niched down. She only helps attorneys market their law firms, right? And I told her, go to your local luxury dealership and get a $30,000 sponsorship. Have them give you $30,000 for the privilege of placing their luxury vehicle in front of the hall where you're going to have your conference, right? It's a win-win situation. You get $30,000 and they get to place their vehicle in front of one of their ideal audiences, people with a higher income level, like attorneys. And I have literally sponsorship kits in the group. Sponsorship kits in the group. All right, so I believe I am done. I'm gonna make sure that I have answered all of the questions. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. We are done. We are done. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Don't be discouraged by what you see on TV because we know that there's grant money available. Keep moving forward. I hope to see you in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days. You have until Saturday to get the additional $200 off. Everything you see for $297, you can do this. And if you need to break down those payments into 4 payments, $75 a month, I don't even know of a grant that's $75. The first time you get approved, you will pay for everything. So whatever you do, don't give up. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. I hope to see you in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days. And thank you for hopping on. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of LaPav Consulting. And it has been my great honor and privilege to teach you tonight. Take what I've taught you and do something with it. Don't let this be another webinar that you attend and you don't do anything with the information. There's too much money available for you. You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity. So thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Be encouraged. Move forward. Move forward. And hopefully you'll be one of those people giving a testimonial, right, for somebody else to see. Because a lot of those people who are winning grants with this course never wrote a grant before. They were just like me all those years ago. All right. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Have a safe evening. And hopefully I will see you soon. Bye-bye.